Peace, it's God King Saeem, Supreme God Allah, aka Saeem Allah, aka PGA. For all the gangsters out there, 45 side. That's because my weapon of choice was a 45. My nephew asked me to speak about my days of hustling and the things I was a part of. I always got money, man, from the time I can remember, man. Like, from the time I was 11, we were just always about money, shoveling snow, raking leaves, we see people working on the houses in the hood and ask them, look, can we get a job? Anything, raking up, cleaning up. They said, yeah, we helped them out. If they didn't, then, we came back, pretty much robbed them, took the tools, everything. But I started getting money when I was, say, about 12 years old. And progressed. And to the point when I turned 15, I realized there wasn't enough money in the hood for me, And I was probably the youngest joker out here selling dope. Because back then you couldn't sell, you couldn't just pick up a package, walk out on the block and sell it, because the old timers would run down on you like, yo, where you get this from? Whoop your ass to take it from you. Tell you they better not catch you out here no more. So it was like a fraternity, Old timer had to see something in you, and then he took you on as an apprentice. You followed him around for like 6 months, and then you was given the green light to go off on your own, and the old timers would always look at me and be like, yo, it's something, something different about him. Just, he's a little swifter than the rest of them. And one day my mentor said to me, he said, listen, if a musician's tool is a trumpet or a drum, the carpenter's tool is hammer and nails. What's the businessman tool? And I said, his mind and his mouth, because I can make money without even having any money. I can make money off of somebody else's money, just directing traffic. And he said, out of 30 young boys that I asked that, you're the only one that answered it correctly. So I was like the youngest joke out here selling dope. And I never understood how, out here they had a thing where you had to run 5 sales in order to get a bag. But my motto was, if this man is sick, shit, and pissing on himself, how could he run me 5 sales? He's not good to me if he's all sick. So I fucked the game up out here. I came and I would give my people a bundle for themselves. Here's 3 more. That's yours, this is mine. Go get right, because you're no good to me sick. So I forced a lot of people to step their game up. And one day, the sister came to me and she was like, you 5%er, you out here killing your own people, blah, 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 blah. And no matter how I tried to justify it, I knew she was right, So I walked out on the block one day and I just said, you know what? I told all my people, we're not dealing with no more original people, no more people at all, black people at all. From now on, when all the crackers come through, I want you to give them my number and tell them, look, we got a nice, safe spot. You can come, get your shit. You ain't got to worry about getting beat. You ain't got to worry about getting locked up. Nice, safe neighborhood. I said, we're going to leave the block, but we taking 50 of the crackers with us. And that's what I did. At an early age, I figured out there just wasn't enough money in the hood for me. You had to do too much to make $1,000. So I had my white people trained. You couldn't call me for nothing less than $100. So I knew every time my phone rung, it was at least $100. I figured it out. The money was in their hood, not ours. So when I started selling coke, I had a house in the suburbs where my personals, the white boys, would come on the weekends, and then I was out on my block, Dewood Avenue. And what I would do is I would get a box of 500 lighters for $200. And I get a box 500 stones for like $200. So if you had a straight $10, because everybody know when you're selling dimes, you're never getting a straight $10. You're getting $7, $8. So my thing was, if you spend a straight $10, you get a free stem or a free lighter. But if you spend a straight 20, you get both. And then I use all different color bags. Every day was a different color bag. So on Fridays, I might say, if you could bring me 5 gold bags, I give you a free dime. So I always had a gimmick to bring more and more people to me, more and more money to me. And right around this time, my cousin Gangster from the Bronx, you know, he was blood. He was 5'9" brim from the Bronx, and he had came home from federal penitentiary, and my uncle had moved him down to Delaware because he figured, you know, get him out the Bronx, because if he stay in the Bronx, he either gonna get killed or he gonna end up killing somebody and going back to prison. So he moved him out to Wilmington, Delaware. Little did he know Wilmington, Delaware was not as bad as the Bronx, but on its heels. And they called him the general out there because there was a lot of Bloods and Crips out there. We talking, you know, 2001. And when he came home, and he was on federal parole. So I was already getting money out here. And my other nephew, I had a club. So every weekend he would come down with my other nephew who was on the run out in Wilmington, and we would go to my nephew's club. So we never stood in line, you know, we come through the side door. We come through the door, champagne sitting on the table and shit, and, you know, brothers walking up. Here, King, you know, here, these new ecstasy pills. Here's this new weed I got. And, you know, my cousin Gangster was like, damn, cuz you must be an ill nigga out here. You know, niggas come up, give you free drugs, niggas showing you the utmost respect in here. Bitches going crazy over you, like, you know, I want to get money with you. And I said, you know, look, you got that federal probation on you, you know what I mean? Just, you know, hang in the cut, man. Just watch how shit go when it's time, you know, you there. Just watch how I move. He's like, damn, you must be an ill nigga, cuz. I says, nah, it ain't about being an ill nigga, because when you're an ill nigga, niggas to kill you or set you up. So it's about being a fair and just dude. That's what gets you more than being an ill nigga. So one day he told me he got fired because he missed a day. He was engineering, and he actually quit because, you know, he was seeing, you know, the money, the paper, the lifestyle, and he wanted it. And I said to him, listen, you ran with a bunch of savages before that didn't give a fuck about you. We family. So I'm going to teach you to get that slow money. It's not as fast as that block money, but at the end of a physic year, I gross 4 times more than what the nigga on the block gross. You know? And he might be getting 2 keys, I might be taking 2 keys. But I'm, at the end of a physic year, I'm grossing more money than he's seeing 3 years within 6 months, which is the end of a physic year. So, I never forget, he came up one night from Wilmington. He called me and said, yo, cuz, I lost my job. I ain't trying to sit around here broke. Yo, the streets is paid in gold out here. So I'm like, all right, well, come on up, you know. So he came up, and I figured, you know, I'm putting many family members on, put a lot of other niggas on, and always was disappointed and shit. So I was like, fuck it, you know, I'll give him 100 grams, you know. If he fuck up, you know. Ain't nothing, everybody else ain't dead. So he came up, and, you know, normally we go hit the club, down our nephew club, and hang. And when he came up, you know, I hit him, and he was like, yeah, I got to get back. You know, I got people waiting on me. So I'm like, whoa, like, damn, we ain't going to the club? He was like, nah, you know, I got people waiting on me. And he was dealing with this white broad who was like, she was like a shaker and a mover around Wilmington, Delaware. Everybody knew her. She worked in the bars. She was a bartender in different bars, so she knew who was who and what, who was what. And in Wilmington, Delaware, you have companies like DuPont, Heinz, like all the major food companies is stationed in Wilmington because they have the lowest tax break in the United States. So the money there was just ridiculous. So. And we had a partner named H who sat on the city council. So when things came up, he went back down. And he said, the only problem we're going to have is some niggas from Philly out there. Some Muslim cats. And they got a stronghold on it. But their product is bullshit, You can hold the shit in your hand. 2 grams of it in your hand, and when you open your hand, you got maybe 5 tenths, and the rest of the baking soda just caked all around your hand. So we sent that Richter out there, and motherfuckers went crazy. Like crazy, man, like crazy. Like he knocked off like 100 joints in like 2 days. It's gone. And when he came up, I'm expecting, 4, maybe 5 grand. And he came up and he dumped 9 grand. Like, yeah, whatever this gets me. And I'm like, bro, you made that off of that? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I'm hitting the bars with old girl. We doing 120 a gram. And they wiping me out. He was like, mad niggas waiting for me now. So I load him up. Go ahead. So by this time, he takes to the street. He's ambitious. He's like, all right, I got the crackers on smash. I got the white girl with half of that, moving that at the bars and everything else. All right, now it's time for me to hit the streets. It was these projects in Wilmington called The Hill, where the Bloods and Crips will hustle together. They tied bandanas together, sure they was getting money together. And Gangs had all of them working for him. He took over that one. Then he took over another project that was like right across the street from the police station. And he started bringing, a lot of, blood brothers from out of Brooklyn and the Bronx back down there with him, and we took over Wilmington and I'm not gonna say we took it over, but we had a stronghold on it within 3 weeks, 3 weeks time. Wasn't nothing moving through here that really wasn't coming from me. And I had Gangs would always tell me, you're that pretty gangster, smooth nigga. I'm the ugly rock, you the polished diamond, I'm the ugly rock. And I would tell him, nah, you're not the ugly rock. I have the builders, and you show him you would never knew he was blood because he wore a gray hoodie, black wave cap, blue jeans, Timbs. And he had got shot in the head. They had robbed a club in Albany, New York, and banged it out with the state trooper. So he had got hit in the head, and it left an ugly scar. And so his hair didn't grow, I guess, when he did surgery on him. And he had a complex about that. And his goal was, one day he came to the house, and he had these 2 jokers with him. One was Payne. Peace to the brother Payne that's out there in Wilmington, Delaware. I forgot his twin brother name, but one had a blue jumpsuit on. The other one had a gray one on, but they had matching bandanas. So I pulled him in the bathroom, and I said to him, yo, what these niggas you bringing in my house? Niggas Crips. I don't know nothing about that shit. So he was like, yeah. So I'm like, well, I thought y'all were supposed to be enemies. He said, nah, man, my shit from the West, we ain't doing it over there. Why is niggas over here doing it? He was like, Motherfuckers don't even know what they following, man. He was like, but, you know, that's another story. And he said, listen, it's about this money, man. You want the money, don't you? Them niggas want 200 grams. So of course I want the money. And he was like, with his mentality, he was like, yeah, I'll wait till them niggas get up to like a kid. So then then I really start taxing them and shit. So, you know, by this time, you know, everything is just lovely, man. You know, we got pretty much the street on smash. And there was a cat from East New York that was getting very jealous of Gangsta's rise, you know, and Gangsta would always get drunk and he would always brag about me, like, yeah, my cousin. Nah, I'm doing this thing for Quran. So he was like, you know, nah, my pretty gangster cousin come out here, man. We had whole state. And I used to have to tell him, like, yo, later, I'm doing a video for Quran first.
Huh?
I'm doing a video for Quran.
Oh, that's why I thought you was going over there.
Nah, I'm doing it. I'm gonna send it to him. So he was like, so he was like, and I would tell him, like, yo, stop mentioning me, you know, I'm your ace in the hole, you know, you don't expose your hand, you know, don't mention me, you know, as far as out there, all they need to know is about you. This is your thing, you know, I'm the man behind the man, and nobody should know about me. But he was so proud of me, and so, you know, looked up to me, and, but Gangsta was a stone cold killer, you know, he was, you know, my family, I love him, but he was what he was. And him and the dude from East New York, every time they saw each other, they got it in. Now, picture Wilmington, Delaware. It looks like Manhattan. You got everybody on the run from Jersey and New York out there. Mostly all the jokers that was getting money, the major jokers, was from out of town, out of state. And then you had the Philly jokers. Now throw in the mix, you could walk into Target Master, one of the best gun stores in the United States, and all you needed was a Delaware ID saying you was a resident for 3 years and buy any gun you want. And you could go to a pawn shop and buy a joint like it was nothing. So you throw jokers on the run from New York and Jersey and Philly all coming together in Wilmington, Delaware to get money. There's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be violence. You know, the personalities clash, chrome meets chrome, you know, and there was a lot of wars, you know. There was a lot of people went down. Without getting too far into it and naming names and places, a lot of people went down at Gangsta's hand, by his hand. But I always told them, money and murder don't go together, you know, it just don't go together. And out there, they had the regular police, but the regular police was on the take, you know. They had what they called the FBI gang unit, and it's a Commonwealth state. So you really don't want to get caught up there, and especially by the feds, because that's who's coming for you. One year, he had just brought his 2002 brand new 430 Lex. He was proud of. He loved the movie Belly. He had headrests with the TVs in it. Every time he called me like 10 times a day. Yeah, so-and-so ran off with this. About to had the homies bust his ass. Nah, a dead man don't pay no bill. You grab that nigga, you give him enough to work with. You stand out there with him, you put his ass to work for 2 or 3 months. You make him repay that and 4 times more. You don't kill nobody because a dead motherfucker don't pay no bills. And I'd rather have the money than have this nigga dead. once you start fucking with a certain bracket of money, there's a part of the game that you have to play, whether you want to or not. You have to play it. Like how we moved in this, I would come down your block and say, my man, how much are you paying for that shit? How much you paying for that? How much the Philly niggas charging you? Okay, well, they charging me this. All right, well, check this out. I could give it to you for 3 points less, 4 points or 5 points less. And the smart ones would be like, I bet. But then you have some jokers that had egos. Nah, if I do that, then it's like I'm working for you, and I don't want to feel like I'm working for you. And I'm like, bro, if you buying something from me, you're not working for me. You're working for yourself. But a lot of jokers had loyalty to the Philly jokers, and a lot of jokers just didn't like us because we was out there. We was moving like Nazis. We was moving like the SS Germans. And matter of fact, they called us the Nazis and the SS. I remember one day I pull up, and coming from Jersey, I pull up, and I pull up to the hill, and I'm like, has anybody seen, yo, where's the General and Slash at? And I'll never forget it. Brother said, oh, heart attack and stroke. Oh, they down there at Big John's. And my man H's mom's restaurant. H was sat on the city council. So heart attack and stroke. So I get down to the restaurant, get out, my man parks the car, go inside. They sitting in the back in the dark. So I'm like, yo, I asked these niggas, where y'all were? They talking about heart attack and stroke. The fuck they call y'all heart attack and stroke for? And he said, because we kill more people than heart attacks and stroke. He said, next year they're going to call us cancer and AIDS. It's my people, it's my family. I wouldn't lie on them. And there's really nothing to brag about, because I'm ashamed of a lot of the things that happened out there. But like I was saying, I would come down your block and ask you, would you want to, I could give it to you for this. Most jokers, egos, nah, I'm good. So now, I send a team of shooters through your block every night. Now they shooting your block up every night. Now you're not getting no money because the police is coming and shutting you down. All right? Now your money coming to me anyway. Now when you send your little soldiers out there, my people are going out there and pistol whipping them and robbing them and flipping them and finding out all type of valuable information that they just spilling. And some jokers we didn't even have to do nothing to. They was getting such a raw deal from these niggas that they was more than happy to flip on them. But I still wouldn't trust them and put them down with us because, you flipped on a motherfucker. You've been out here knowing all your life. You damn sure gonna flip on some niggas you just met 4 or 5 months ago. So now I'm forcing you to the front line because every time you send somebody out there to sell it for you, they're getting beat up and robbed. So now you got to come back out there and feed yourself. So now we're going to have that conversation again. Now I'm going to put a load of 45 on the back of the trunk, and I'm going to put 200 grams on the back of the trunk, and I'm going to say, my man, pick one. Pick one. And I'm going to take 10 steps back, and I'm going to put my hand on the small of my back, and I'm going to wait for you to grab that 4 or 5. If you grab the 4 or 5, it was better that you grabbed the coke and made yourself some money and made yourself an alliance with me. And that's how we took over a lot of blocks, with strategically moving like the SS, like the Nazis. And we had a thing. We didn't allow outsiders to come in our inner circle. It was family. All of us was family. So when we went out together. There might be jokers that work for us. You might be able to come, peace, what's going on, take a couple pictures, but after that, you gotta go. because what we're speaking about, you can't know. You know, you're only strong as your weakest link. You're only strong as the next man standing next to you. And if you can't trust family, who can you trust? So all my generals was family. My top inner circle was all family. Now, who they had under them didn't matter, because when it came time to sit at the round table, it was only the general and the guard. So we expanded. We started looking at Newcastle, and by this time, my cousin Gangster had outgrown the white chick. He no longer wanted to fuck with her. Parts of. But at the same time, she was such a intricate part of the puzzle. She was bringing in a nice piece of change that he didn't want to let go. So he offered her a business proposition. He says, listen, just because we don't fuck around no more doesn't mean we have to end business. But she wanted both. So she was approached by the DEA one day, and they said to her, we don't want you, we want him. And, you know, give it to her. She was stand up. You know, after she spoke to them, ran the Gangster, told them what was happening. And my uncle was going back to Puerto Rico for a little while, going to visit family. So I told him the smart thing for you to do is to go with him until I could find out just how deep this shit is running. Like, you know, what they have, you know, who's cooperating, you know, if we could get to them. But it'd be wise for you to go to Puerto Rico and lay low for the next month or so. Take yourself out of the equation for a minute. Let shit die down. Leave the homies in charge. You know, you got an army of 50. It was like an army of 50 that you dealt with directly, but probably another 50 that didn't even know that they was working for you and me. So, he went back to Puerto Rico, you know, he stayed like a week. I get a phone call. He's telling me he's on his way back to Delaware. And I'm like, why? Like, you fucking up. What are you doing? He was like, yo, niggas is fucking up money. You know, niggas crashed my car up, you know, my brand new joint, you know. So he ended up coming back. I had a bad feeling about it. And his car was insured under the white girl's name, full coverage. And when he would come up to me, he would get 2 birds and then get fronted 2 birds. And his money was at one spot, his work was at another spot. And the white girl started fucking 2 of his underlings and his enemy. 2 of the niggas that got on the phone with me and cried and said, if it wasn't for you and the general, I'd still be in the Brooklyn or in the Bronx, living in abandoned apartments, in the projects. I'd still be sleeping in cars. It's because of y'all that, you know, I got a fucking 3-bedroom duplex, driving a Benz, whatever. Grown man get on the phone and cry and tell me that. And my thing was, you just take care of my cousin. He was more like my little brother, you know. He was my little brother. You know, I looked at it like I was the big brother that just blew his knee out in college football, college basketball, and here I'm watching my little brother go straight from high school to the NBA. And I said to him, I said, look, out of 1,000 niggas I put on, you're the only one that took what I had to teach and really applied it. So I can back out and retire. I could walk away now knowing one motherfucker is going to carry on this legacy. And I was in the mix of turning everything over to him, you know. I was leaving a small part of what I had with my cousin Son God here in Jersey, and then I was going home to raise my children, because even though they had the big house, the 4-bedroom in the suburbs, best of school, best of everything, I come home maybe a week out of a month. On Christmases, I'm coming home with 4 trucks loaded up, dump it in the living room, make it look like Toys R Us, wake them up at 12 o'clock, let them jump around and go bananas, all the stuff they got, and then by 2:30, I'm back on the road. So I was, as my son's mother would say, you are a good father, but you're not a great father. So I was on my way of retiring, because one day, one Christmas, we really, in fact, that Christmas, we dropped everything off at about 11:30, 12. And me and him, we stayed at my house. And my son's mother at the time, her mom was there from Guatemala. And she was surprised when she started speaking Spanish that we both was answering her, she was like saying, all this time I never knew you were Spanish. And I was like, I'm black, but my mom was of Hispanic descent, and so was his. We had an uncle who was a boxer, Wilfredo Benitez. So the next afternoon, I brought my son's mother a brand new bedroom set. And I had, brothers come up, take the old one out, put the new one in. When we were leaving, me and her, we were split, but still together. I was still coming home, taking care of all the bills, paying the mortgage, still giving her $1,500 a week, because while she was in school, still coming home, bringing groceries, or everything. I did everything, the groceries, paying all the bills. That was my home, and I remember we were leaving, and she just looked real sad. And Gangster was standing there, and we were leaving, and her mom gave me a hug, gave him a hug, and we're leaving. And she's holding my hand, and we walk out the door, and she stops, and she starts crying. So Gangster says, we get in the car, we're leaving. We get halfway down the highway, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna take you back home. And I'm like, for what? And he was like, bruh, if I had that waiting for me at home, I wouldn't be out here. He was like, I want what you got. He was like, but I'm not going to be there. He was like, I don't want to be the one to have to take your body back home. I don't want to have to look at your kids and tell their mother that something happened to you, you're gone. He was like, so I'm going to do everything now. Turn everything over to me. And to me, that was love. That was like, wow, I'm done. Like I said, there was these 2 chicks' house he would go hang out at after he would go to the projects and distribute shit, collect money. He would go sit over there. There were 2 strippers. He would go over there and sit. And, that was his little chill spot. And he would park his car around the corner. Now, the only person who knew that he was there was the white girl. And anybody else, he would jump in the car and go meet. But her, he would tell her, meet him around the corner. From what I understand was, he got a phone call, he walked out, said, I'll be right back. They knew who it was because he didn't take he wasn't leaving. And they said maybe 20 minutes later, they hear 2 shots, boom, boom. Right away, they knew it was him. So they come outside. They find him. He was leaned up against his car door, but sitting on the ground on the driver's side with his hand under the seat. And his head was bleeding and his chest was bleeding. And one of the dudes called my uncle and said, I think G, because we call him G, gangster. I think G got killed. And he said he got hit twice in the chest. Now, as far as the hood knew, he got hit in the head and twice in the chest. What happened was when he went around the corner, two dudes ambushed him. He struck with both of them. He dropped both of them. Boom. One of them hit him in the head with a pipe from a witness that was out there. They ran around the corner, reached up on the car, and grabbed grabbed their guns. He went to his car, opened up the door, stuck his hand under the seat for his shit, his 40. But the white girl had a spare key to his car and took his 40 out. So that's how he was found, with his hand under the seat